Listen, let me tell you something. Rejection hurts. Yeah, I said it. You show up with your heart wide open, your hopes high, and then bam, they shut the door right in your face. Maybe it was a job, a relationship, a dream you were chasing. And now you're standing there asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Let me stop you right there. You didn't do anything wrong. Rejection doesn't mean you failed. It means you tried. And that already puts you ahead of most folks sitting around scared to even start. But here's what you gotta understand. Rejection is not a dead end, it's a detour. It's life saying, hey, that's not the door for you, but keep walking. There's something better down the hall. Now I've been told no. So many times I lost count. I've had folks laugh at my dreams, walk away from me, tell me I wasn't good enough. But you know what I learned? That no wasn't meant to break me. It was there to build me. Because if I had gotten every yes I thought I needed, I wouldn't be standing where I am today. Let me say this loud and clear. Don't you dare let someone's no make you forget your value. You are not for everybody, and that's okay. The people who can't see your worth, that's not your problem. You just keep showing up, keep working, keep believing. Rejection is pain, no doubt. But pain ain't always punishment. It can be preparation. So instead of crying over the door that closed, start thanking God for the one that's about to open. Because here's the truth. God's delay is not God's denial. Just because it's taking time doesn't mean it's not on the way. So next time you get rejected, don't fold. Don't crawl under the covers and disappear. Stand up. Dust yourself off. Smile like you already got the blessing, because it's coming. Rejection ain't the end of your story. It might just be the chapter where everything starts to change. You feel me? Rejection ain't the end, it's a redirection. Now let that settle in your spirit for a second. Because most of us, the moment we hear no, we start thinking it's over. We let that moment define our worth, our future, our next step. But in reality, rejection is rarely the finish line. More often than not, it's just life steering you away from something that wasn't meant for you and guiding you towards something greater that you just couldn't see yet. Think about how many times you've wanted something so bad. Maybe it was a job you thought was perfect, a person you thought you couldn't live without, a dream you chased with all your heart, and then, out of nowhere, it slipped right through your hands. You feel lost, you feel disappointed, you feel like you got it all wrong. But hold on, what if you didn't get it wrong? What if you got it right and just didn't know it yet? See, sometimes we get so emotionally invested in a direction that we ignore the signs telling us it's not the right path. But rejection forces us to stop and look around. It demands that we pause, regroup, and sometimes even reinvent ourselves. And that's not a setback, it's a setup. You might have been aiming for something small when God had something bigger in mind. You were praying for a door and He was building you a whole house. But because the door didn't open, you start thinking you're cursed, when in fact you're being protected. Let me give you a real example. There was a time in my own life where I was down to nothing. I had dreams, I had ambition, but I couldn't catch a break. Every opportunity I thought would be the one turned out to be another closed door. I remember getting told no so many times I started expecting it. But looking back, every one of those rejections moved me a step closer to the place I was meant to be, not just where I wanted to be. If I had gotten every opportunity I thought I deserved at the time, I wouldn't have grown into the man I am today. I needed that pain, I needed that delay, I needed those detours. Rejection gives you a moment to reflect. It asks you, what are you really made of? Because anybody can keep going when things are going right. But can you keep going when things fall apart? That's when the real work begins. That's when your faith gets tested. That's when you have to believe in yourself even when the world tells you you're not good enough. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying rejection feels good. It stings. It can knock the wind out of you. It can make you doubt everything you ever believed about yourself. But don't let a temporary feeling rob you of a permanent future. Because if you give up after one no, you'll never get to see the yes that's got your name on it. And trust me, there's always a yes coming. It just might not look like what you expected. So when life tells you no, don't stop moving, don't fall apart, don't question your purpose. Understand that life is redirecting you. Maybe you needed more time, maybe you needed to build more character, maybe the thing you thought you wanted would have destroyed you in ways you couldn't see at the time. Whatever the reason, trust that there is a reason. And that reason is always working for your good. People often think rejection is about failure, but that's not the whole truth. Rejection is about alignment. It's life's way of saying, you're not off track, you're just being rerouted. Think about your GPS when you miss a turn. It doesn't scream, you're a failure. It calmly says, recalculating. That's what rejection does. It recalculates your journey, adjusts your route, and sends you towards something better. Something that fits, something that lasts. So if you're sitting in the middle of rejection right now, feeling lost and discouraged, I want you to remember this. It ain't over. It's just beginning. Rejection is not the end of the road. It's a sign that the road you're on needs to shift. So lift your head up. Keep walking. Something better is waiting for you just around the corner. Don't miss it because you were too busy crying over a closed door. Keep your faith. Keep your grind. Keep your head up. Because this detour might just be the best thing that ever happened to you. Don't let a no shake your value. That's one of the hardest lessons to learn, but also one of the most powerful. See, every time somebody turns you down, every time someone says, you're not good enough, or you don't fit what we're looking for, there's this little voice inside that wants to agree with them. That voice starts whispering, maybe they're right. Maybe you're not smart enough, talented enough, attractive enough, whatever enough. And before you know it, that rejection starts to feel like truth. But let me tell you something loud and clear. You are not defined by someone else's opinion of you. Your value is not determined by who accepts you. It's not measured by the job you didn't get, the person who walked away, or the opportunity that passed you by. Your value was set the day you were born. It was planted deep inside you like a seed, and no in this world can uproot that unless you let it. The real danger of rejection isn't in the no itself, it's in what we allow that no to do to us. We internalize it, we carry it around like baggage, and then, without even realizing it, we start showing up smaller, quieter, less bold, because we're afraid of being turned down again. But let me flip that on its head. Think about this. What if the no wasn't about you at all? What if it had nothing to do with your worth or your potential? Sometimes a no is just timing. Sometimes it's politics. Sometimes it's the wrong environment or the wrong people who couldn't see what you brought to the table. That doesn't mean you brought nothing. It just means you were dining at the wrong table, and that's okay. That no isn't a rejection of your value, it's a reflection of their vision, and some folks just don't have the vision to recognize greatness when it's right in front of them. I've seen people get crushed over one rejection letter, one breakup, one missed chance, and they start moving like they're less than, like that one event rewrote their entire story. But let me ask you this, does a diamond lose its value because someone walks past it? No, it's still a diamond, it's still precious, it's still rare, it just hasn't found the right buyer yet, and you're still rare, still gifted, still powerful. Whether people see it or not doesn't change the truth of who you are. Now, it takes strength to hold on to your confidence after rejection. That ain't easy, but it's necessary. You've got to look in the mirror and remind yourself, I am enough, I am capable, I am worthy of the good things in life. Not because someone else said so, but because you know so. Rejection will test that knowledge. It will challenge how you see yourself. It will try to convince you that something's wrong with you, and in those moments, you've got to stand firm. You've got to protect your identity like it's your most prized possession, because it is. You've got to remember who you are when the world forgets. You've got to believe in your gifts when nobody else claps for you. You've got to keep showing up with excellence, with heart, with purpose, even when doors close in your face. Because the right door, that door is going to open wide, and when it does, all the no's that came before will make sense. You'll realize they weren't shutting you out, they were pushing you forward. Each one of them was building you up, shaping you, preparing you for the moment you finally walk into what's meant for you. So the next time you get told no, I want you to nod your head and say, that's all right. I'm still valuable, I'm still chosen, I'm still going. Don't let rejection make you shrink. Let it make you stronger. Don't let it break your spirit. Let it sharpen your focus. And above all, don't let it make you forget your worth. Because your worth doesn't come from applause or acceptance. Your worth comes from within, and that's something no one can take away. Turn pain into fuel. That's the mindset you need when rejection shows up in your life. Because make no mistake, rejection hurts. It stings deep. It can shake you in places you didn't even know were fragile, but the pain doesn't have to be where it ends. That pain can be the very thing that lights a fire inside you, a fire so powerful it pushes you further than you ever thought you could go. Pain, when used right, is not a curse, it's a catalyst. You see, most people run from pain. They avoid it, numb it, deny it. They think if they just push it down far enough, it'll disappear. But pain don't disappear. It waits, and if you don't deal with it, it deals with you. But what if you faced it head on? What if instead of running from it, you used it? What if you took every tear, every moment of heartbreak, every disappointment, and turned it into energy? Every successful person you've ever seen has a pain story, every single one. They didn't get where they are because everything went their way. They got there because they learned how to turn their pain into progress. They took every no, every door slammed in their face, every time someone said they weren't good enough. And they said, okay, watch me. That's what turning pain into fuel looks like. It's not about pretending it didn't hurt. It's about letting that hurt motivate you instead of destroy you. I remember hearing about this woman who got rejected from over 20 jobs in a row. She had every qualification. She showed up on time. She had passion, but nobody would hire her, and every time she walked out of another failed interview, she cried in her car, but she didn't stop. She started working on her own project, her own business. She used the pain of those rejections to build something from the ground up. Now, she employs people, she writes the checks, and when people ask her what pushed her, she says, the pain. That rejection taught me I didn't need their yes to succeed. That's power. That's taking what was meant to break you and using it to build something bigger, and you can do the same. You don't need a smooth path to do something great. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't need the world to hand you anything. What you need is fire, and that fire often comes from pain. Think about how a rocket works. It doesn't launch quietly. It needs fuel, combustion, fire. It needs pressure and power. The same goes for your life. Pressure can push you or crush you. It's your choice. You can sit in that pain and feel sorry for yourself, or you can stand up and say, I'm going to let this make me better. Because if you can turn your pain into purpose, nobody can stop you. There's something about being hurt that forces you to grow. It pulls things out of you that comfort never could. It teaches you lessons that success never will. Rejection humbles you. It sharpens you. It clears out all the fluff and shows you what you're really made of. When the world tells you no, when they overlook you, when they underestimate you, don't argue. Just build. Build in silence. grind when nobody's watching. Use every painful word they threw at you as bricks to build your foundation. You don't have to be bitter. You don't have to get revenge. You just have to be better. That's how you win. The best response to rejection is elevation. Rise so high they can't ignore you. And when they finally look back and realize what they lost, let them. But don't stop to explain yourself. You're already moving too fast. So take that pain, take that heartbreak, take that moment when they said you weren't enough, and let it fuel you. Let it drive you to your next level. Let it remind you why you started, because pain is powerful, but only if you use it. Don't waste it. Don't let it sit in your soul like poison. Let it become your power. Let it move you, grow you, shape you into everything you were meant to be. Pain doesn't mean the story is over. It might just be the beginning of your breakthrough. God's delay is not God's denial. That's one of the hardest truths to hold on to when life keeps telling you wait. You've prayed, you've planned, you've done everything you know how to do, but the door still hasn't opened, the call still hasn't come. The answer still hasn't shown up, and somewhere deep inside, you start to wonder if maybe you were wrong to believe. Maybe it's just not going to happen, but I want you to hear this clearly. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Delay does not mean denial. Sometimes God puts you on pause, not because he's punishing you, but because he's preparing you. You're asking for something big, something meaningful, something life-changing. And those kinds of blessings come with weight. They come with responsibility. They come with pressure. So maybe you're not being held back, you're being held together. Maybe God knows that the version of you today isn't quite ready to carry what you're asking for. So he gives you time to grow, time to heal, time to learn things that success alone could never teach you. See, we live in a world that wants everything fast. We want results now. We want answers instantly. But God works in seasons, not seconds. He's not on your clock. He's working on your character while you're watching the calendar. And that waiting season you hate so much, that's where the foundation is being built. That's where strength, patience, and resilience are being developed. You don't get to skip that part. And truth be told, you don't want to. Because if he gives it to you too soon, you might mishandle it. You might lose it. You might let it break you, but when it comes in his time, it'll be exactly right. I've met people who cried for months over missed opportunities, thinking they had been rejected, only to find out later that what they thought was a no was just a not yet. They ended up with something better, bigger, more aligned with their purpose. But only because they didn't give up in the delay. That's the key. You have to keep walking, even when the path isn't clear. Keep praying, even when it feels like no one's listening. Keep grinding, even when nothing seems to be moving. Because something is happening. You just can't see it yet. Faith isn't about having everything go your way. Faith is about trusting the process when nothing makes sense. It's about holding on to your vision even when everything around you looks like a contradiction. It's about believing that the promise is still alive, even if the progress is invisible. And sometimes that kind of faith is the only thing standing between you and your breakthrough. I know it's frustrating. I know waiting hurts. I know how hard it is to watch other people get what you've been praying for while you're still stuck in the same place. But don't let comparison cloud your vision. Their blessing is not your blueprint. What's for them is for them, and what's for you, it's coming, and when it shows up, it won't be rushed, it won't be forced. It will be just right, because it came on God's schedule. Sometimes you're not being delayed, you're being hidden, protected, covered. There are battles you don't see. There are things God is keeping you from that you didn't even know could hurt you. So, while you're focused on the opportunity, he's focused on the outcome, and his vision stretches far beyond your line of sight. So trust him. Trust that every delay has a reason, even when you don't understand it. Trust that your story is still being written, and this chapter isn't the end. The worst thing you can do is give up right before it's your turn. Too many people walk away in the ninth hour, not realizing they were one more prayer, one more day, one more act of faith away from their breakthrough. But not you. You're not going to quit. You're not going to let delay make you doubt, because you know now. God's delay is not God's denial. It's development, it's alignment, it's timing. And when that appointed time comes, you'll realize it was worth every second of the wait. So let me leave you with this: rejection is not the end of your story. It's a chapter, not the whole book. You're going to hear no. You're going to stumble. You're going to feel like the doors are closing faster than you can knock. But that doesn't mean you stop. That means you keep moving. You hold your head high, not because everything's perfect, but because you know your worth isn't tied to approval. You let the pain push you forward, not pull you under. And above all, you trust the process, knowing that just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it never will. So walk forward with faith, with fire, and with the unshakable belief that what's meant for you is still on the way. Your rejection might just be the setup for your greatest comeback.